Hello everyone, this is Carrie from Celestial Forecasts. If you've been drawn to this video, this particular reading, hopefully there's something here about your situation that I'll be able to tap into when it comes to your connection. These are the 3 decks that I'll be using for this particular reading, my Valentine Connection Tarot, and also my HEARTSPACE Oracle created by myself, and then I'll go ahead and grab some messages from the Relationship Design cards by Sister Moon Tarot. Alright guys, general advice as always, so please keep that in mind throughout the reading and only take the parts of it that resonate for you and release the rest. Alright, let's get into some messages. Alright, fire signs Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. Let's get into some messages here. What is it that you need to know when it comes to this relationship, this connection? What do you need to know? All right, so we are starting off with intuition, hunches, go within, trust. So perhaps this is a message that, you needed to hear at this point in time, especially if you have struggled to trust your gut instincts when it comes to this person. We do have sadness, tears, pain, and longing. So for those of you especially who maybe had a recent breakup, or maybe the last time you guys spoke, it could have been a very hurtful conversation. Could have been very hurtful. So that could represent a tower moment of sorts. Let's see what else. What else for fire signs here? Opposites attract, desire compatible, yin and yang. You guys could certainly have been opposites. Maybe when you saw this person, when you met them, it kind of surprised you because maybe they just weren't the type of person that you would normally be attracted to, especially if you had a particular type of individual that you gravitated towards and they were just very different, but you found that you guys got along great. We have trust coming through here. So the intuition card literally has that word coming through. Hunches, go within, and trust. So loyalty, commitment, and partnership. This could have been tested, guys, as far as what happened in the relationship. There could have been trust issues. Maybe you found that they were not trustworthy, and that's what hurt you and why the pain is coming through with the sadness card, And then bottom of the deck, I just happened to glance at it. Grieving, processing, letting go. You definitely experienced some sort of loss when this person left your life, and maybe they as well have experienced that loss because you're no longer there. So let's go ahead and clarify this with some tarot. I'll set these guys aside so I can refer to them. And let's see. They could be feeling lost without you, or maybe you've been drawn to this reading because you are struggling to let them go. And just when I said that, look at the card that came through. So we've got the 5 of Pentacles coming through here, guys. And the struggle, we see that there. Somebody who's been left out of the cold, right? Or out in the cold. And I feel this person has just hasn't been in a good place perhaps in their life. And maybe you relate to that for yourself. That it's been a struggle because you guys are apart. All right, let's see what else. What else for fire signs here? All right, well, Divine Feminine, you're coming in as the Empress. So we might have a masculine, who's coming through in this reading to let you know that they see you in this way. They see you as the type of person that they would want in their life, either through marriage or to have a family, to experience all of the great milestones and memories that you can create together. It's either that or they recognize these things after the fact. We're seeing 5s come through. Okay, so 5s represent challenges. We see the competition with the 5 of Wands. So part of the issue I feel for fire signs is that other people were in the picture, because we're seeing the reference to trust. Maybe after a while you realize that you couldn't trust them. Loyalty was definitely tested as far as their commitment towards the relationship. Let's see what else. What do we need to know? Yeah, I do feel they're struggling. I feel they want to do something about the separation, but they're not quite sure how to go about doing that. You know, they're self-sabotaging, or they convince themselves, like, if they were to try, that you would just reject them anyway, so why bother trying? That's kind of what I'm getting there. They feel trapped in their own thoughts. And then we see the Ace of Wands here. So at the end of the day, what they're actually thinking might not even be part of the reality. Because if you're listening to this and if you're drawn to this person still, maybe there's a part of you that would want to start fresh. Maybe there's a part of you that still sees good qualities about this relationship, regardless of how things might have unfolded. So we do have the Knight of Wands coming through here. I feel this might represent a masculine who was a lot of fun to be with in the initial stages of the relationship, you know, that honeymoon phase. Could have been the type of person where, you know, you guys just had a lot of fun, lots to talk about, initially very compatible. But as you got to know them more, you realized perhaps that you weren't the only one in the picture, you know? And it really does come back to the loyalty, the commitment, the partnership, the trust, and why it ultimately hurt you, okay? Because you realized that you couldn't trust this person. They could have lied to you. They could have certainly cheated. There could have been infidelity in the partnership. Three of Pentacles is all about two people who work together, but it's very difficult to work together in a relationship if the end goal is different for each person. If they were allowing other people in the mix, you know? And look at this. We've got fives coming through. So Five of Swords, conflict, yes. Absolutely. So they created tension where perhaps there didn't need to be any tension, but they did. Okay, let's see what else. We've got the Fool. At the end of the day, I am feeling for this person that's coming through in this reading for fire signs. They know they screwed up and they acted like a fool, made a fool of themselves. But the Fool is also about the opportunity to try again, to start again, to have a new beginning. Are you open to that or not? That is the question. And maybe you wouldn't be, you know, if they were to try again or ask you for a second chance. This could be an indication that maybe you're not ready, that you would still walk away from them. Or it could be telling us that you walked away from this person because there were other people in the picture. But for some of you, there is the potential for a reunion. Maybe you consider this person to be a twin flame, because the Four of Wands can represent a strong foundation. So if the initial foundation fell apart, this is giving you guys the opportunity to rebuild, create something much stronger so that you guys can try again. Four of Wands represents a reconciliation. So even though something came to an end, there seems to be the opportunity to start again and a reason to celebrate a reunion here for some of you guys. So right now, things seem to be going through a transition, but I feel that that is necessary in order for you guys to welcome in this new path. So if you can find yourselves on the same page this time with a single goal of working on the partnership and not allowing anyone else to be a part of the relationship, no outside factors, then you guys have a real chance at true happiness here. All right, guys, so that's what I have. If you're interested in your own reading, that info is down below, and I'll link all of the decks you see here. Thank you so much, guys. I'll catch you next time. Take care.